right, here we go. Afro, welcome to Vlad TV.
Thanks for having me, man.
I'm seeing the buzz building, and it's going pretty quickly too. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Congratulations. So your name stands for All Flows Reach Out.
Yes.
Explain that.
I was around like 13 or 14, and I started writing at 12, and I was 13, 14. I was still just kind of trying to find the name, and I had the Afro, so I knew it was Afro. I was like, okay, I'm Afro.
Okay.
But I wanted to have it like an acronym, like with the dashes in it. So I tried to find a meaning for it. I was thinking of a bunch of stuff, and then randomly All Flows Reach Out stuck in my head, like around like 14, 15. I ran with it.
That's a very 90s thing to do. It seemed like in the 90s you could not have a name without having it stand for something, even if it doesn't make sense. Like, I think like Black Moon stands for something, like brothers lyrically acting over something, something, something. Wu-Tang stands for something. You don't really see that too much these days, though. Why did you decide to go for that, the acronym?
I don't know. I just felt like I loved how it looked with the acronym with the dashes. I was like, instead of just Afro without the dash, I felt like with the dashes it would just be, I don't know, it just ran with it.
I feel you. So like at 12, you started kind of taking it somewhat seriously?
Yeah, at 12 it was definitely like, when I was 9, the first hip hop joint I fell in love with was Microphone Fiend, Eric B. and Rakim.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, I want to do that. But I wasn't writing like really like serious writing then. But 12 was the age I was like, yeah, I definitely want to really do this and like actually, try to do something with it.
Okay, so you started writing at 12. What was kind of like the next thing that happened?
I kind of like laid low. I wasn't really introduced to like recording music, even like little mixtape joints and like in the house. So my boy had like a little like Pro Tools little setup, and I remember the earliest I ever recorded a project was late 13, and that was with him. So like it was like probably a year after where I kind of started like really lacing the vocals on the tracks.
Okay, so you're a teenager, 13, 14. You start messing around and actually laying stuff down over original beats or
No,
beats?
definitely like literally over like Wu-Tang beats, like YouTube beats. I would go up on YouTube, search up the beats, and just me and my boys would like cipher and over the YouTube beats and.
Okay, and you're in LA at this time.
Yeah.
All right. So what part of LA?
I grew up. First, I grew up in a little spot, Bellflower. And then I graduated elementary, and then I moved to OC. I moved to Anaheim and Fullerton, and I stayed there until high school, and then finished high school, and then I went back to Bellflower.
Okay. And like, what was it like being in high school during that time for you?
It was, in high school in OC, it was pretty cool because I was starting to lighten up a little more. In elementary and middle school, I was kind of more shut in. All I had was the headphones in the back of the class. So, but in high school, I started like to talk to a few more people, and like I started to get like cool with pretty much everybody. I was cool with either the jocks or like the nerds. I was just like a high kind of guy, And high school was mostly, high school was definitely like the hip hop was, that was the one that was during the period where I really wanted to really like, get it cracking in high school.
Yeah. Now, there was some bullying going on during this time?
Yeah, like in elementary and middle school, I was cool. I was like the quiet loner, so nobody really talked to me. But in elementary, as like early as like third or fourth, I was a really chubby kid. I started getting way chubbier like at 5 years old. And I was just like, and I blame it on hot Cheetos. I was fucking them up. I was like, wow, and.
Just the hot Cheetos.
Yeah, definitely. that's the number one chip. I remember I was like fucking up all the time.
Right.
And I would get bullied a lot. There would, it was the poking fun of. It was like a bunch of stuff, and I wasn't, I didn't really have thick skin at the time. I was like, I wasn't really, I wasn't really used to that stuff. Like, cause they would go hard every time. They would be like, yo, you Fat Albert, whatever, Fat Albert, all this, all this,
right.
Cleveland Jr., all that,
Okay.
So. So I just it kind of made me a little mean and kind of turned me into a bully a little, And then like right when I finished elementary school, like a switch happened in middle school. I just wanted to be like follow, just do the work and stuff. Cause in elementary I was smart, but but I was a knucklehead. I was I was like kind of like a dickhead almost, and that's I don't really like that about that, elementary school,
So when your mom would punish you, she would make you read the dictionary.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. Like I've never even heard of that before.
Yeah, like she would. It's crazy, like how moms put it. Like I remember it was early, like maybe 5 or 6. She was, instead of whooping my ass, she was just like, "Yo," she's like, "Go in that corner right there, pull out that dictionary. You're not going out there until you read until I know you read it. Like, and instead of skimming it, like, cause that's what I would honestly do. I would just be like, I'm just, She was like, "Nah, I know you didn't read nothing. Read it, read it, learn something." I was like, "Word." So slowly, I would get through the dictionary as I got a little older. It was like, I don't know, that kind of stuck with me.
So you start plowing through the dictionary at like what age?
Like maybe, I'm gonna say like 9 to 10, 10, yeah, 9.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because when you look at people that are accomplished, there's something called being an outlier, which means that you sort of just started working on something way before everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, an example would be when you look at most of the professional hockey players, they were all born, from Canada, which is where most professional hockey players come from. They were all born in December because they would group kids by age. And as a little kid, let's say being 5 years old, if you were born in January versus December, you have damn near a year worth of development. So you had these developed kids that would kind of be better in the beginning, so they would put them in better classes and they would give them more, more training. So by the time they turn 18, they've had like thousands more hours of training than a kid that may have been born in January. You see what I'm saying?
Crazy,
so the fact
crazy.
that you started using a dictionary at 9, 10 years old, by the time you're how old now?
19.
19. So I'm saying for 10 years, you were reading the dictionary when other people were not.
Yeah, go.
So your vocabulary is probably higher than most people's.
I like I kind of liked English class, but then I did love it because I knew I was like a smart kid, but I was just lazy.
But what about when you started writing your raps, like during that age, 12, 13, were you using words that most people just didn't know?
During like 12 or 13, I was just using like standard, like spontaneous words like that. But like when it got to like 16 or like 15, I would use like asphyxiated or stuff like that, But yeah, I just kept reading and reading, Yeah.
I feel you. So you're still writing raps in high school. And you were actually a fan of R.A. the Rugged Man.
Yeah.
Before y'all met.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Why is that?
When I was 13 years old, I heard Li's Finest. That was on the Xbox, like live, Xbox Live. I had a 360 and it had like a ill banging old school music, a radio station I was bumping. It had I was introduced to the Black Moons, the Smith & Wessons and all that, a lot through that station, besides YouTube. And I heard Li's Finest randomly. And I recognized the sample from Shaun of the Dead. I mean, because they played Ghost Town in the beginning. So I was like, oh, that's dope. And then I heard his voice. I was like, yo, his voice is ill. And then I heard his song Super, because with Li's Finest, already has like a dope, calm, laid back flow. But with Super, is literally, that was the first time I was introduced to where he was like spazzing, like literally rhyming, spazzing. I was like, this is the illest thing I've ever heard. It's like straight up right there. And then, yeah, and he's literally been like my #1 MC since I was 13.
Well, what was it about 90s hip hop that really attracted you as opposed to most kids your age are listening to whatever the new shit is, to the Lil Uzi Vert, to whatever else?
To me, besides the, I think it was the OGs like voices back in the day, just their voices, just how they, I would take probably example like maybe like a Chuck D, Chubb Rock, Bumpy Knuckles, like their voices are really just very they boom KRS, they boom the room, it's just like the voices accompanied with the very ill drums and the boom boom bat that, and then the realness they were saying in their lyrics, Poor Righteous Teachers, they was saying the real shit, and then Brand Nubian,
Yep.
And I feel like that's just unmatchable to me. That's the stuff I love.